Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Wade Beebe. I am the founder and director of All Sports, All People. Kind of want to get into a little bit of the history as to where it started and where we've come from and how far we've come since 2014. Um, I started the organization in 2014 as a non for profit organization where the goal was to provide inclusive recreational programs for kids and adults living with both physical and cognitive limitations. Um, the reason was simple, is because of my son, and he's 16 now, but at the time he was fairly young. He was born with autism and cerebral palsy, and for anyone who's been in that journey, for myself and my wife, it was a difficult process because there really wasn't any resources, there wasn't any direction, there wasn't any clear path for us to follow. We kind of had to figure things out on our own, which I'm sure who anyone's listening to this video would clearly understand, who's been through the same process. That's a very difficult thing to do. So one of the things that we really wanted to do was to get him involved in some form of recreational programming because we wanted him to be physically active and understand physical literacy and all the things that are important. Heart health, brain health, all those things. We're very big proponents of that. So we found something he wanted to do, which was soccer. So we enrolled him in a soccer program, and we sent in our money and registration form. And within a few weeks after, we got our money back with the registration form with a letter basically stating that he's a liability, that his walker that he uses to move would be a risk liability to other children on the field. So that was obviously very disheartening. And as a private organization, you can't really do much with it, but it's one of those things where you recognize a huge gap in the community, that there really isn't anything for my son to do. That really seems strange to me. So my wife did some research and found sledge hockey, which, as you know now, is called para ice hockey. But at the time, didn't really know what it was. No clue. Did a little research, watched some stuff online. Still didn't really understand the concepts of it, and did some local internet browsing and found that there's an organization close to where we lived at the time, which was Barrie, which was in Elmville, called the Elmville Bears. So we reached out to the Elmville Bears, and they opened us with open arms, and we came to see what they do. And at that day, I went to the rink with my son and my wife, and I actually got on the ice with him. And he went in the sled, and I went in the sled, and the feeling, the gratification is an overwhelming experience, where I was very emotional. I was just bawling because I was doing something with my boy on a sport that I am extremely passionate about. I love the game of hockey, but I couldn't play with my son in regular stand-up. I had to get in the sled, which I absolutely instantaneously love to do. So from there, I was kind of talking it over with my wife and kind of thinking, well, so how do we share this experience? Like, how do we get it to more people so they can experience what we have? Because it's an incredible thing. So that's kind of where it started. And I wrote a grant to the Ontario Children Foundation with the assistance of the Catalpa group here in Aurelia, where we live now, and ended up getting a fairly substantial amount of money from the Ontario Children Foundation, who was very big on supporting inclusive recreational programming. So from there, it was, how do we deliver the programming? So I had made a connection with Brad Bowden, a Paralympic athlete from Team Canada, through my working with Elmville, and him and I instantaneously hit it off and became really good friends, and we still are right now. And him and I started delivering programs, and for 4 years, that's what we did. We did sledge hockey, wheelchair basketball, adapted hand biking, and that's what we focused on, is delivering that inclusive message and adaptive sports to anyone that would like to take part in it. Working with partnerships with recreation locations, and building equipment libraries, and really digging our teeth into the community and providing a need that was never being satisfied. So we ended up running programs for about 2,500 kids within that 4-year period, which was a huge success. And it actually grew exponentially, far larger than I would have ever anticipated. So at that point, it was kind of, where do we go from here? Like, how do we, make it even bigger? So I wrote another grant to Trillium Foundation, and and received another substantial amount of money. And thanks to their generosity, we were able to expand our programming into York Simcoe. And we expanded programs to all kinds of municipalities. It's a huge accomplishment, and the impacts that have been made in the community is it can't be measured. And um, the impacts to myself as a person who plays a sport, loves a sport, but also at the same time has a son with disabilities. I can see the difference in behaviors and the physical literacy part and the understanding of exactly what it means to live with some sort of disability. We started outreach programs within schools to try and change perspectives in how people see other people right at the grassroots, because that's an important thing. So people can understand and have respect and dignity as they grow older and treat people with that utmost respect and dignity. Why not start there? That's been hugely successful. I'm happy to say that we have an office location in Orillia, and we have a very large equipment library. Um, we run programs in Bradford, Orillia, Barrie, Innisfil, Tiny Township. I mean, we're all over the place. And I will say that their pandemic has had huge impacts on what we do and how we deliver those programs. But we've adapted in how we do that. We go to an online portal and an online process. It's the only way to deliver programming right now, because we can't do the hands-on approach, which, as you know, is the best way to do it, but we have to adapt like everyone else is. So that's what we've done. We've posted videos on our website, through Instagram feeds and instructional videos, fitness things. So we're still making the measurements that we need to do to ensure that we're reaching our goals. And we will not stop doing that for people. We will not stop doing that for you. It is our mission, it is our mandate, and we will continue to do that to ensure that we are delivering inclusive recreational programs, promoting diversity, and making sure that we treat people with those respects. Following the Sports for Life model, making sure we hit, around stage 2 of the development of the player, and really making sure they want to return because they love to play the sport, whether that be wheelchair basketball, whether that be para ice hockey, whether that be adapted hand biking. We've expanded, we've even done water polo. We've basically done anything that a recreational department wishes to do. We adapt to it and we deliver the model. And it's been a huge success. And it's changed me as a person. It's changed me in my professional career as well as with ASAP. And it's amazing to know that you've had these impacts. And I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of the people that I work with. And we want to continue for as long as we can. So that's my message to you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being committed to ASAP, because we're committed to you. We won't stop until diversity and inclusion is a common word being used on a regular basis with municipalities. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this video, and we look forward to seeing you.